here today have experience dealing with the bureaucrats out there. We need to always present these things in a format that they understand. We can't assume anything. We make the presentation as simple, especially when it's out of the box things. We need to give as much information as we possibly can that makes their job simple, because they are the ones that hold the rubber stamp. Okay. How do we lead? How does the program work, and how does it eventually lead to citizenship? Firstly, it's a 5-year program. Okay, so you've made the investment of €500,000. Let's say, for argument's sake, you bought a property for €500,000. What else do you need? You need birth certificates for every single one of the applicants, including the primary applicant. Okay, birth certificates, original birth certificates, no copies are accepted. If you can have them notarized, or what is the other term that they're apostilled? If you can have them notarized or apostilled, even better. It makes the process a lot simpler. They need to be at least translated into English if they're not, if they're in another language besides Portuguese. What else do we need? We need proof of residence in the country that you're in. In other words, a utility bill, something as simple as a utility bill confirming the primary applicant's address in the country in which he's resident. We will obviously need their passports as well. What else will we need? Just thinking off the top of my head.
Police clearance certificates.
Oh, police clearance certificate. This is very important. The police clearance certificate. Just a certificate confirming that you haven't broken the law in that country, in the country where you are resident. Okay. Police clearance certificates, again, you will always need your police clearance certificate for your renewals as well, because you're not resident in Portugal. Initially, when the law went out there in its simplified form, they were accepting Portuguese clearance certificates, which was lovely for us, because to get a Portuguese clearance certificate, you go into an office, you pay €3, and in 30 seconds they give you the Portuguese clearance, the police clearance certificate, and you walk out. They've subsequently adjusted, because there have been some applications that were initially crime-free and then have subsequently turned out to be an issue. So for the renewals, they will always ask you for a police clearance certificate in your country of residence. Okay. We submit your application. What else do we need to attach to the application is obviously proof of the investment. So in the case of a property, we would attach a title deed. Some other things that we also attach, which we take care of for you, obviously, declarations from the bank confirming where the funds came from, that they came into your account. Important things, it's not necessary to prove how you acquired the funds. Apparently some of the programs, I think the American is one of them, they want to know how you acquired the funds. It's not important as long as they come in legally. So from bank to bank, we have no problem there. We will, in the course of the process, we will open up a Portuguese bank account, or you will open up, we will be with you, open up a Portuguese bank account so the funds go into your own Portuguese bank account. What else? Okay, we submit the application. It will go through a process. They will analyze the file. The application is normally done electronically via a portal on the internet. We submit it. They will inspect it. They will then sign it off, approve it. They will set up an appointment. We will then go along with the originals in hand, and we will just confirm that all the copies that they have, the originals, are available for them. At that point in time, we then have to pay the government levy. There's a state levy. The levies are just under €518 to submit the application. Once your application has been approved, you pay a once-off of €5,000 per adult. Okay. Once we've done we've made the payment, within 30 days we have our residence card in hand. It normally takes 2 to 3 weeks, but I always say to clients, allow for 30 days just in case. But within 30 days they have their residence card in hand. As soon as we receive their residence card, we will have prepared the family's files already. As soon as we receive the residence card, we will then submit the family's application. So all the dependents that go attached to that application will then be submitted. And again, that process allow allow 90 days for them to get their residence card, because their application is not considered as urgent as the primary application. Okay. You hold your temporary residence for a year. Okay. You come back to Portugal, you renew it for another 2 years, and again for another 2 years. What do you need to have done in this period? In the first year, you need to have visited Portugal for 7 days. So what most applicants will do is they'll organize or plan a holiday for the renewal period. They plan a holiday, have a great holiday. During that holiday, we take out 2 hours of their day. We go along to the immigration office. They present themselves. They sign a simple declaration to say that they've presented themselves, and then they go off, and then we take care of the renewal. It will be renewed for 2 years, okay? In the next 2 years, you must have visited Portugal for a cumulative of 14 days, okay? So it doesn't need to be all in one go. It can be a couple, 2 or 3 visits to do that. Again, most applicants are planning to come at the point of renewal because it just makes good sense. They'll be in the country at the time. And then for the last 2 years, again, same process goes on. What do we need to present in the course of those years? We need to make sure that we have tax clearances for each application, that you've paid your taxes, your Portuguese taxes at least, that there's, if they are registered with the Social Security, that those payments have been made, or if they haven't been registered with the Social Security, a nil return is what we submit, a nil certificate. What else do we submit in that period? Did I mention the police clearance in that period? And then proof that you're still maintaining the investment. We have that as well. Again, next, coming back, what else do I need to have done in that 5 years? You need to have done a Portuguese language test. Okay? Portuguese language test is a very simple test. People will often say to me, but the Portuguese? No. Dealing in Portugal, you don't need to speak Portuguese because most Portuguese speak English as a second language. So you'll find as soon as you walk in, well, it's difficult to hide the fact that you are a foreigner. As you walk in, very much like in Hong Kong when I'm going down the escalator, they go, excuse me, you can see by the face. So yes, everybody speaks English quite fluently in Portugal, so it's a very easy country to get around. But to do the Portuguese language test, you can do the lessons privately. In the past, you'd have to do an actual Portuguese language course, but you don't need to do that anymore. They changed the law to simplify it. You can have private lessons. Most consulates around the world will have Portuguese teachers that are linked to the consulate. They don't have to be. It can be anybody. If you know a Portuguese person, absolutely, they can teach you. The tests are normally done at the consulates around the world if they're outside of Portugal. If you are in country, in Portugal, in most councils around the country, there is Portuguese lessons free. Why do they do this? Because they feel that everybody's civil rights need to be protected. So if you're a foreigner in Portugal, they want to know that you at least have an understanding of the language so that you don't end up signing documents that you shouldn't be signing. But the test is a very simple one. How do I get to the bakery there? Where do I live? Things like this. Very, very, very simple Portuguese, just so that you can get a simple sense of the language.
Is it both verbal and written?
Pardon?
The test is both verbal and written?
Absolutely, yes. Both. You have a multiple choice section, you have a verbal section where you have to stand up and talk, and then there's a section to write as well. But it's a very, very simple test.
How long does the test last?
It's about an hour and a half. It's a very simple.
What's the pass rate?
86%, yes. So yes, I have an experience with this because my daughter did the test in May last year. And there was a gentleman from India who had been living in Portugal for 10 years. Couldn't speak the language. It got halfway through the test, he couldn't answer the test. So all the students got together and sat around him and helped him. They went like, where do you buy groceries? Supermarket, okay. Where do you kind of, it's the Portuguese love the fact that people want to learn their language. It's an honor for them that they do. So you will always notice that when you arrive there and you start talking good bom dia, boa tarde, people love it. They love the fact that you even take the trouble to try and learn the language. I find that in most cases, initially it's the biggest objection, but what about the language? And once they're in the program, it's irrelevant because they're so excited about learning this language by taking on this new culture. Portuguese is freely available on the internet because there are courses that you can download on the internet. So everything I know about is because my clients have taught me this. They've downloaded these programs. Brazilian is very much what you will find on the internet is mostly Brazilian Portuguese. It's accepted as well, so it's okay. If you pick up a Brazilian program and you learn the language through that, it's accepted. Portuguese have done really well in a country of only 10 million people to maintain some presence in the world. What do they use? They use their language. They use their language. It's a great, so there's over 250 million Portuguese-speaking people around the world, yeah.
So David, in some jurisdictions like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, in order to essentially become residents and move on to citizenship, there is an IELTS program that you need to go through a certain score, and it's quite an obstacle and a barrier to entry. But Portugal is very different from that, right?
Yeah, nothing like that at all. Nothing like that at all. So it's just, hence the reason why it's got such a good report. A very, very, very simple system. It's a system that's targeted a specific category of people, eyes open. It's not a tax system. It's not a system to keep people out. It's just to target that niche market that's out there. It's very much culturally very much a Portuguese thing. Even marketing tourism around the world. Tourism is our biggest income earner. It's the biggest employer in Portugal. You don't find cheap package holidays to Portugal. They target a niche market. They've realized as a small country, we've got Spain alongside with 65 million people. There is no ways we can compete with their budget. So what do? Portugal targets specific markets. So very much in terms in the line of Portuguese.
So just finally on the test, if you take it and you don't pass, you can take it again, right?
Yes, it's the Portuguese way. No 3 strikes and you're out stuff. The Portuguese way is, let's do it again. Let's do it again and again and again and again. There's no problem at all. There's no limit to how many times you do the test. Yeah.